1, 2, 3.
Usually I have headphones. I know what's happening.
I know headphones would make it better. I'm an interrupter too, so get ready.
Listen.
I blame the drugs.
We are in fucking Venice, California with Annie Lederman.
What's up? We know some of you druggies probably are outside my probably on the corner.
I've been trying to
I'm
get...
stepping over you and I'm taking my dog to the coffee shop.
All right, so you're stepping over drugged out potential Dopey fans on the way to coffee.
Yeah.
When do you take your sunglasses off?
On and off, throughout. It's kind of
the thing? You got iced coffee?
I got iced coffee, spilled it on my crotch.
Nice.
I have an old Taco Bell drink.
So I've been writing you for probably 4 years.
Yeah, and I've been avoiding you for what?
Four and a half years. And one of our people tracked you down.
Yes.
Gave you a
Irvine, yeah. I think or it was Brea, somewhere, yeah.
Gave you a Dopey hat.
Yeah, I own a Dopey hat.
Sent me a picture of you with the Dopey hat.
And I said, one day.
And then I wrote you and I said, I've been writing you. And you're like, yeah, I'll do it one day, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, cool, whatever. Ignored me. And then I wrote you, listen, Annie, if you want to just tell me fuck off, I'll fuck off. But if not, why don't you just do the show? And then the phone rings and it says, Abigail Lederman.
My mom, yes, my mom's my name, yep.
And I pick up the phone and she's like, you're going to need to fucking fuck off now. That's what you said.
I was kidding.
Well, here we are.
No, because I'm spread a little thin. So people take it personally, but it's, you do one podcast, right?
For now.
So I do two, and then I'm doing stand-up every night. So all I do is talk. And then it's very hard. And then I'm on the road, so I'm traveling too.
I've been listening to you a lot, and I've noticed a serious transformation.
Cool.
A serious transformation. From
when to when?
I don't know. From the past to the present.
You used to be cool, now you're a bitch.
No, you used to be more insecure, and now you're owning your power.
Cool.
Have you noticed this?
I think, I've done a lot of drugs, a lot of hallucinogens that I've got. No. I've done a lot of work on myself, for sure.
Let's start with that.
Yeah.
I want to know about the shamanic world. I want to know about fucking what hallucinogens you're doing. When's the last time you did one?
My shaman.
What is that?
He shakes it over me when I'm on ayahuasca.
What's his name?
I can't tell you his name.
Could you pass me my phone? Because
he told me he's an international drug dealer.
Okay.
So he can't. Drug smuggler.
He's moving ayahuasca and ibogaine and stuff?
Yeah, he's around. No, but he's great and he's a nice, wonderful man. But the last time I did ayahuasca was in New York on the 19th and 20th.
Of January.
The 18th and 19th of January, yeah.
See, that really annoyed me, by the way.
Why?
Because I had spoken to you like 2 weeks before trying to get a date, and you didn't mention you were going to be in New York.
Because I was like, I can't do the Dopey podcast on drugs.
Well,
you're on like a retreat, and then I just did one show. And also, you want to know why you're lucky? I was very sick, too. I was very sick, and I just got over my sickness. Had like bronchitis or something.
Where was the ceremony? In Manhattan?
It was like upstate somewhere.
Millbrook? That's a psychedelic haven.
I actually don't know where. It was just at these rich people's house. And the one woman didn't want me there. It was pretty funny.
And you did ayahuasca?
Yeah, I did ayahuasca in San Pedro.
When's the first time you did ayahuasca?
2019. And
what was the plan?
Well, I was performing at the Comedy Store and on like a Wednesday in the main room. And I had gone on a date. I was like hanging out with a guy who like just didn't really like me. It was like one of those. And I was like, wow, I don't even know if I like this guy, but I better get him to like me, get obsessed with him and have my whole life be about whether this guy likes me or not. So I'd gone like on a date with him to meet his friends. He wanted me to meet his friends, but also didn't want to be like serious with, I was being mind fucked. And I did a set at the Comedy Store and I was in a bad mood. I was pissed. And I got off stage and then in the corner where people bring guests, that like employees and comics bring their guests where they sit, there was this man and woman, and the man was like kind of glowing. He was like, I don't know. I was like, what the hell is this? And I high-fived him, and he was very nice. And then later, one of the guys that worked at the Comedy Store was like, my friend loves you. He's been to the Comedy Store a couple times, and you're always his favorite comedian. And I went, this was when I was still low self-esteem. I was like, oh, he's probably just trying to fuck me. And he goes, he's gay. Don't worry about it. And I was like, oh, I have a real fan. And then I was like, well, who is he? They're like, oh, he's in from out of the country. He's a breathwork instructor. I was like, I love breathwork. He's like, actually,
He's a shaman.
yeah. They're like, he's a shaman. So, and we're doing ceremony and someone just dropped out and you can come do it if you want. Cause I kind of thought maybe I wanted to do it. I was scared to do it. Cause I'm trying to think of where I was. I think I'd been doing, cause I quit drinking in 2009, January 28th, 2009. And then I was like full sober for 4 years. Then I started smoking weed again. Then I was like doing mushrooms and stuff like that. But then it was like I really wanted to do ayahuasca. I kept hearing about it.
Was it ceremonial mushroom use or fun mushroom use?
I mean, I don't think there's actually fun mushroom use.
I think there is.
I think I've never gotten the dosage correct, and I'm always in a weird, sweaty, needing to shit, uncomfortable.
2 grams is the right dosage.
To go out?
I mean, I think that's a good time dosage.
But like you're hanging out in like
yeah,
Joshua Tree.
yeah. Well, I'm sure she's. What's your dosage, Amelia?
What are you on now, Amelia?
It's been a minute.
When's the last time you took? And Amelia's never been on the show, and she's worked on the show
It's
forever.
so cute, and you're very cute, and you look like someone, and I can't. Do you look like a celebrity?
Do I? I don't know.
You do. I'm gonna know who it is. I'll tell you when I place it.
I'm curious.
When's the last time you did mushrooms?
I have mushrooms in my fridge right now for like years that I haven't done.
Yeah.
In a minute.
What do you think the right dosage is?
I mean, it depends on the person. It depends on the set and the setting.
For you.
To be honest, with mushrooms, for some reason, like it just compulses me to not measure it. Just grab a handful.
Oh, I like that. That's cool.
I had mushroom tea in my fridge for fucking years. I haven't done mushrooms in a million years.
Right.
But
You have fond memories.
I have fond memories of mushrooms.
I think the tea is actually the last time I had fun, and it was in Washington, D.C. when I was like 18 years old. I mean, I might just be forgetting having fun on mushrooms, but I think mushrooms, I'm always like, this is too intense, and then I can look back on things and see where things looked more beautiful and felt more beautiful. But I was talking to someone the other day about how I don't fuck with mushrooms anymore, and he was like, mushrooms force you to do shadow work.
Talk about what is shadow work?
Like
Stutz
the darker
business?
shit.
Like, what is shadow work?
I think shadow work is like when you find your darkest parts of yourself, and then you learn to accept them and your different parts and stuff. But I mean, ayahuasca takes you to like really hard places, but I don't know why I don't. Do you see what I'm saying? Like there can always be a problem.
Amelia's a professional.
Randy?
I always wanted to take ayahuasca.
Yeah.
When I got
Do you feel like that's relapse?
If I not for me. I mean, I never took it. If I took it, would it be a relapse?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
My wife, when I first got sober, my wife was like,
Oh, is your wife still?
We never
married
got
to you?
married, but we're still together.
We're engaged, and it's like the idea of a wedding seems insane.
We got engaged like 4 years ago, but we also have 2 kids.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of just built in.
Because I was gonna ask if you guys have a vibe, but you have a wife.
We have a very, very good working vibe, me and
Yeah.
Amelia. It's like the greatest working vibe I've ever had. It's amazing.
You're straight?
No.
No.
She's very complex.
Are you all of the things?
I'm all the things.
Oh, that's fun. Cute. I'm like, do we have a vibe maybe? Todd thinks I can hook up with girls. Todd doesn't know.
Is that the next thing?
Todd doesn't realize like how good lesbos are. Like he doesn't know, like you don't let your girl hook up with a lesbo.
Well, I've never been.
Lesbianist, I call them, sorry.
I've had opportunities and I've never been able to do
Have
it.
like a threesome with your wife?
Not with my wife. My wife would never do it. But in the past, I had opportunities and I never did them. So I have a little bit of regret.
But I think it's like Todd like having like internalized sexism where he thinks like it would just be like some soft.
It would just be
little
fun
thing.
for
like,
him.
Yeah, I'm like
As opposed to
girls
losing
spit game.
you.
Yeah, like girls spit better game than guys. I think.
So are you on the cusp of doing maybe a ceremony and then inviting?
A woman?
Yeah.
No, I honestly, but I'm 40. You never know.
Life.
I'm the youngest old you can be.
I'm going to be 50 in June.
Yeah, you look young.
That's nice, but I don't feel like I look young.
Do you feel young?
Yes, I
Yeah.
feel like 20.
Yeah, we're like tall babies.
I feel like 17, 15 maybe. I don't know. I want to hear why you wanted to do the ayahuasca ceremony.
Okay.
I was
like basically like I was so. I mean, I guess like the term that would make sense is I was very anxiously attached. So I had a friend that told me, Randy, Actually, Dan St. Germain, have you ever interviewed him?
Who?
Dan St. Germain, he's always a relapse, and he's a funny comic that has
No, I don't know
crazy
him.
stories. He lives in New York. Todd, can you take Randy?
Randy's causing trouble.
He's so cute and such a prop. I like this. I like how shitty it's drawn.
Thank you.
Very crackheady.
That's our vibe.
We are gonna have to talk about our relationship.
Okay. I mean, I want to hear about the ayahuasca, and then we can talk about whatever you want.
Okay, so my friend Dan said that he made a good observation. He goes, you always date someone that's like your dad, then someone that's like your mom, and then someone's like your dad. So my dad when I was a kid, was extremely verbally abusive, very mean, very would call me like a selfish cunt and shit like that when I was like little.
He would call you a selfish cunt?
Yes, he would come home from work so stressed out and just fucking rage.
And I heard you always craved his attention.
Yeah, but then he was also the best. And then when I turned 15, he retired. And that's when I stopped being a juvenile delinquent, really. I really just needed some attention. And my mom was very distant, very hard to get. She was there, but she would be looking off and not paying attention. And I could never quite get her. And I always say the gifts that I've been given are, I'm good at art and I'm funny. My dad's funny and my mom's good at art. My mom did not really encourage my art. She'd be like, meh, when I would do it. And then my dad laughed and we had a great time. So it was that was the thing I pursued.
So your dad encouraged you?
Yeah.
So when did you decide that you wanted to do an ayahuasca ceremony?
Okay, so
I want to get this out of the way.
No,
and then
we'll get to it.
Then we're going to dive deep into the trauma.
But so I was just in this spiral of I was so the last guy was my mom, so he was just there but not available. I didn't even know if I liked him. It was just annoying. I was just very anxiously attached, and I was just feeling really lonely. I was feeling really unloved. I was feeling like nobody ever chooses me, and I was just having these feelings. I was then also performing on stage in front of audiences and having so it was just I was in a weird thing. And then when it came to me, it felt like it came to me. When that guy was sitting in the audience and he ended up being a shaman, and then someone had dropped out. So that was a Wednesday. And then by Thursday, I had canceled all my weekend spots. I bought a bucket and I was driving to San Diego to go do this.
The bucket is for vomiting.
The bucket is for vomiting.
And what's the ceremony like? What's ayahuasca like?
Okay, so for me, the first one was it was just a bunch of there might have been 20 people. And I knew two people that were there. I knew one of the couples that was there because they worked at the Comedy Store. And
was it Mark Maron?
It wasn't. Can you imagine? I don't think Mark would do ayahuasca.
No, he wouldn't.
Oh my God. But have you interviewed him?
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves talking about sobriety.
He thinks I'm more annoying than you think I am.
Oh, I can't wait to talk to him about you.
But he had me on his show,
yeah,
which was nice of him.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
I know his show was pretty epic.
You should have me on Anniewood.
Well, we're just gonna put it is Anniewood.
All right, this is now an Anniewood episode.
Yeah. Okay, so I get there, I drive up there, I bring a sleeping bag and a bucket, and it's it was a yoga studio, so we're all kind of in this carpeted room, or I guess it wasn't yoga, so there was carpet, but there was this big room, and we're all kind of in this circle, and I think we did breath work the first night.
What kind of breath work are you into?
I like all of the different kinds. I was actually thinking about that because I've had my shaman do breath work with me. I've gone and done retreats on breath work where you learn all different, where I'm almost being trained in different types. But the ones that I do classes in LA of are, I don't know what it's called, but it's when you go you go stomach, chest out, stomach.
Is that
chest
Kundalini
out.
breath
it's
work?
It's not Kundalini.
Fire
Kundalini,
belly?
There's a lot of weird shit with Kundalini.
Yeah, I love the Kundalini shit.
Kundalini's wild. But yeah, I've done a bunch of different ones. But I was just talking about this the other day. There was I had one breathwork instructor who was this badass, hot lesbian chick, but she was also used to be a personal trainer. I think she still is, but so when she does breathwork, she'll be breathe, breathe. And they're oh shit, it's really intense. And then my other girl in town, Sophia, is she's got this really beautiful voice and she sings angelically at the end. And so I like doing all different ones. I think it's really cool.
So you do it a lot?
I love breathwork. Yeah, I could do it more.
See, I'm getting trained. I'm in this weird moment where I'm getting trained to be a guide and I'm supposed to facilitate breath work.
Don't you want to learn everything?
That's why I'm doing it. I do it because I want to feel important and they really want me to do it. And nobody wants me to do anything.
It's fun to like hold space for people too.
Well, how am I holding space for them?
Yeah.
I am.
Right? Wouldn't you be?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Isn't that what the job kind of is?
Yeah, but I don't know. I just want to focus on Dopeywood. So,
But Dopeywood can only get better the more things you learn, right?
they want it to be Dopeyhood, peoplehood. And here it's Dopeywood.
I love it. See,
I'm just wooding it out. Now, after the breath work, you do the fucking...
After breath work, they offer you a cup. Like there's singing and there's tobacco
Chanting.
beings. Yeah, there's like a bunch of shit going on. There's that thing being shook in your head. And stuff being spit on you. And
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
What are they spitting on you?
Aqua Florida.
I don't know what that is.
Flower water.
Okay. Who's spitting it? The shaman?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's he always has like an apprentice with him. And then you go around, like set your intentions, and then they offer you the cup. You come up and it tastes like shit. I literally just went like, ugh. Tastes like shit. You drink it. For me, I didn't feel anything the first cup. I was like really nervous it wasn't going to work for me or something. And then...
Is it supposed to hit you right away though?
It takes a little bit. And you pull... my shaman is a painter too, and he made these like really cool... they're cards with like different gods on them, Greek gods on them. And so you like pull a card and then that's like
Meaningful.
And you go around and he kind of like explains it to you and stuff. So you've drinking the cup and then you're going around and like by the end, the last person, you're pretty much like, oh shit.
And what does it feel like?
Like for me, a woman comes to me, Mother Ayahuasca, and I just ask her questions. And sometimes she's actually coming to me and I see her, and sometimes it's just I feel the presence of someone, and I kind of like I'm on my side. I think they say your right side's your feminine, and your left side is your your right side is your masculine, and then your left side is your feminine. So I always think like my daddy. So I was like on my dad's side, and I was curled up and I was like, why do I feel so lonely? Like, why do I feel so unloved? And she just went, oh, because of your dad. And I was like, oh, fucking duh.
Mother Ayahuasca said
Yeah,
that.
I was like, oh, obviously it's my dad. And then I felt like I was like a bunch of doors, and that they all like flung open, and then there was like light could go through.
At that moment, when the truth came out.
Right. And then I was thinking about what it was about my dad, and it was about how my dad was older when he had me, which by the way, if I have kids, I will be older than my dad was when he had me, but I thought he was very old.
How old was
40,
he?
He was 41 when he had me, but nobody else had old dads at that point in my life. So I was like and he had heart disease and stuff, and he had to get like surgeries and stuff. So as a kid, I thought my dad was like old and dying all the time. So I was always afraid of my dad dying. Always.
Is he alive?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
thank
82
God.
and
Very
fucking killing it. He's in the Virgin Islands right now, having a
Nice.
blast. But yeah, no, he's doing great. But I just was like, so I didn't feel like I could like relax, because I was like, my dad's gonna die. He's old. If he didn't answer me when I called up to him when I was a kid, I would just run upstairs thinking he had died and stuff. So I never was like, and I realized that I had that throughout my life. Like I was always afraid things were gonna go. So I would be like worried about like keeping them without like enjoying them in the present, or even, and that's where I kind of realized with my relationships, I didn't even know if I liked these people. And I was like, but I wanted them to tell me like, hey, do you want this to like last for a long time or not? Like I wanted all these future answers, but I didn't even know if I liked them or if I wanted a future.
You just wanted to make sure that somebody would care about you.
Yeah, I just wanted something like, I was trying, what I felt like was I was grabbing water. I kept trying to like grab water, and I was like,
I don't want to lose
so
this.
frustrated. I was like, ah.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, and then I had to face that my dad was going to die. And then, so I basically was at his funeral, eulogizing him, and I was like crying
In the trip.
hard. Mm-hmm. And I was just crying so hard. And this is like where you start throwing up and stuff. Usually it's like when you have like this big epiphany of like what you needed to release. So I let him die because I was like, he is going to die. It's like I'm trying to make it like he's never going to die. And I'm making him basically, he may as well be fucking dead the way I'm treating it. And so I eulogized him. I just kind of like honored him and how amazing it's been. And then I was like crying so hard I went like this, and then my hand got really heavy, and it was like my dad's hand was inside my hand, and then it was
Wow.
like he was me, and I was like, oh, he'll never leave me because
he's in you.
He is me. Yeah, we are each other.
That's very beautiful.
Yeah, so
you have
that
an
was very
amazing
helpful.
ability to recall it all too.
Yeah, and it's been wild things each time has been a new.
How many times?
I've done it like, you do it twice in a weekend. So if I'm counting it that way, I've done it probably like 12 times.
Amazing. And when you were a kid or when you were like a younger adult, did you do a lot of acid, psychedelics?
I did a lot of drugs when I was a kid. But I did do acid when I was 14. I did acid quite a bit.
And was there any similarity in experience?
I didn't have a spiritual experience, but I had a visual experience. Like things looked cool, and I was, I also had a pretty bad trip, not like horrible trip, but I was in the Virgin Islands when I was 16, and my friend Nick Desjardins, who I'm still friends with, who I love, he grew up there in St. Croix, and I was visiting him, and he was like, oh, I have acid in my freezer, and I was like, oh, let's do acid. One of the exports of huge exports in St. Croix is Crucian rum, which is rum with molasses in it. So they had these huge towers of molasses, of molten molasses. And we decided to drop acid on top of the towers, which is like, you're just only a 16-year-old could come up with something this fucking stupid.
Fantastically psychedelic.
Yeah, like, oh
though.
my God, but we're like it's like
plummeting to your death
this,
and caramel.
And so we're like climbing down, and I'm like, the acid's starting to hit, and we walk under the faucet, and I am convinced that molten molasses has fallen into my hair. Now, if it had fallen in my hair, I would be burned to my scalp. I mean, my skull would have been exposed.
So it didn't.
Probably. It didn't, but I was sure of it, and everyone's like, it's not, and I'm like, it is, and we're driving around. It's like I was just losing my mind. And then we go back to my friend's house, and his dad had like stolen cable, so we could watch whatever was on HBO, and HBO was just playing on a loop. Girl Interrupted, and I remember watching it and being like, she's not crazy, and then I was like, oh no, I'm crazy.
Yes.
I'm like relating to her, and then
I love it.
Yeah,
This is good stuff. Good dopey stuff. What's the first time you got high?
I got high with my friends when I was 4. I smoked weed when I was 13, but I didn't get high. I didn't like smoke enough. I probably didn't inhale.
It's like the first ayahuasca cup. You're like,
yes,
I need more.
Yeah, this isn't for me. But then I remember getting like really high. I was like 13 or 14. And I remember like cotton mouth and being like, what the fuck is this? And like, not sure if I was imagining it. And
Did you love weed?
when I was a kid, I liked getting fucked up. I didn't really matter what.
You love drinking.
I loved drinking. Yeah, I liked to drink. And I also stole, I found pills. Like when I found pills, oh my God. My parents had so many pills in our house. I couldn't believe it. I was like going through the cupboards like, holy shit. I would anything that said don't drink on, I stole and drank on. And this is before the internet. I mean, I'm so lucky I'm alive. I was fucking mixing shit. I was taking shit. I took my dad's heart pills. Like I was taking so much shit.
What were like the good pills your parents had?
I don't even, we had a lot of like hydrocodone and stuff like that and pain pills, which you could never, if I fuck myself up, I do anything in my power to not take pain pills. I hate being constipated. I hate pain pills. They're not.
You don't like opiates.
I'm so lucky.
That you don't like opiates?
I'm blessed.
That it didn't get you. I loved opiates so much.
Yeah.
I really did.
Take your shoes off.
I'm going to be
Tell
comfortable.
us the truth.
No, I have
No,
to.
he's excited. He got excited. We started.
I heard opiates. I took
No, I saw you. You got comfy.
I wanted to get comfortable. If you look very comfortable, so I
yeah,
figured
no, I want you to be comfortable.
I feel pretty comfortable.
You can put your foot on the
pillow
pillow if you want.
All right, that's
we
pretty
have
good.
a penis pillow too.
Oh wow, it's happening.
That's my fupa pillow. We're from fupaing.
So let's. Your story like has a lot of horrible stuff in it.
Yeah,
I've heard it a bunch of times.
Did you listen to my Marin?
I did today on the drive to meet Amelia.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for you.
My abuse of you feels better now, right?
Say it again.
My abuse of you.
You abusing me?
Yeah.
You didn't abuse me. Or do
I was
you
like-
really want to unearth
I was
this?
like, honestly, it's so funny. Well, just because I wish you knew. Okay, this is maybe too embarrassing to admit.
Just admit it.
Okay, wait. So the day before I text you and was like, don't come.
That was a great
I
moment.
was feeling so high vibe. I was like, I'm about to blow up. My career's blowing up. Oh my God, I'm about to be famous. Like, I was like,
Why?
I just have been doing a lot of work. I've just been doing a lot of work, and I'm shedding a lot of things that have been holding me back in my life. And I just felt like like I've had some like kind of like dark, like not dark. I've had some like difficult situations I've been dealing with for a little while. And I started to look at it like that I'm getting out of, and I started looking at it like a slingshot that was like pulling me down and is about to fucking, and I started just really tap into the like
potential.
Like, yeah, the potential. And I was just getting so excited about like being able to focus on my jokes and just like, I just was like starting to see my special, like things were just coming together, and I was like seeing billboards, and I was just like having this like really high vibe, like where I was like, oh, I just like see all of my goals. I see everything like manifesting, and like I already felt like I had it, and I was like, oh.
And then you're like, but this loser's coming to my house to record his horrible podcast.
Then the next day I'm flying to Denver, and I'm in the last row of first class, and the guy that is in the first row of coach keeps looking at me, recognizes me, and I'm like, it's annoying the fuck out of me. Okay, I'm like, oh. And I mean, it was 12 hours before that I'm like, billboard bitches, get ready, Netflix. Like I was like, it's on, bitch. And then I'm like, I was thinking about a podcast I had done, recorded the day before, and I was like, I talked too much about my past. I wasn't talking about my future. Like I was just starting to like ruminating thoughts and starting to get really like that. And then I was like, this fucking guy wants to come to my house. I was like, why is he coming to my house? That's weird if he comes to my house. Which it is actually not weird if you come to my house. But I just was feeling
a little weird.
I was taking a nap on the plane like this, like, and my mouth always like is agape. Like I look like I need to be unplugged. Like my parents need to make a decision. I'm like vegetabled out, and I felt like the flash of like an iPhone taking a picture of me, and I was like, is that fucking guy? I just felt like exposed.
You were on display.
Yes. And then that's
then I popped into your head.
So then I was like, I think it's inappropriate for you to ask to come to my house. I'm like, I need boundaries.
No, that's not what happened. What happened was you wrote me. I think it was out of nowhere because you don't. Because
I was on the plane.
You don't write me very often.
Right.
And out of nowhere, you were like, "Where are we doing this?"
Because it came into my head.
And I said, "I don't know." And then I wrote, "Ha ha ha," and you wrote, "I'm serious."
No, because you're like, here's the thing. He came to LA to interview me, which was so nice. And instead of me being like, oh, this is so nice and flattering, I'm like,
he's a fucking weirdo who's going to kill me.
Yeah, he's going to fucking kill me. I'm sorry I haven't listened to your show. I loved the thing you just showed me.
You liked it?
The sizzle reel was amazing.
Thank you. I didn't make it, but it's good.
No, but you were the content of it. But you know, it was like, you know, I'm learning boundaries. I have my little evil eye thing to remind me of boundaries, but
why does that remind you of boundaries?
I just decided it does, but I think it's supposed to be like you're warding off the evil eye. But for me, it's just, I have to remind myself as someone that was brought up Quaker and in a household of like Quaker pushovers, which my parents are. My parents basically, so the take from Quakerism that I need to kill is that there's God and light and good in everyone, and you should find the light in everyone, which is as a concept a very beautiful, nice idea. But really how it manifested for my family was me being put in very dangerous situations where everyone else was going, this is a dangerous person, and my parents going like, sleep over or whatever. Do you know what I mean? My parents being like, we see the good. Horrible. So for me, it was like really, and then so I have that where I'm constantly like justifying other people's behavior, going like, oh, I'm sure it's just like maybe I did something or whatever. And always like, so then always being like willing to take the hit and to like excuse the behavior rather than setting up a boundary and maybe just not fucking with certain people, just only riding for people that ride for me. Like that's a pretty easy route. If you just go.
But it's hard to figure out who's who. You didn't know me. And I think you did something that made sense. And then you were like, how about if we do it at the Comedy Store? Yeah. And I was like, great. I don't know anybody at the Comedy Store. Like, and you were like, this fucking guy. But then.
Well, it was, okay, so in my like most annoyed, which is not your fault, in my most annoyed, I'm going, okay, so he went to the podcast, wants me to find the place because I am having another thing that I'm working on in my life where I'm feeling like a lot of like too much responsibility, too much booking, too much of calling venues, too much of like,
you're the star. You're not supposed to be doing all this legwork.
I'm doing so much venue stuff.
Yeah,
I'm doing so much venue stuff, and and I realize like so much of the like of that type of stuff, like having to book like basically 2 podcasts, my live show, all of these things, like having to have that responsibility all the time. I had to tell my mom this because every time they come to one of my shows, they ask me where to park, and I go, when you ask me a venue question, you're taking from my performance part. And that's a boundary I have to set up with people.
Nice.
Like people are going to like take whatever they can get because it's easier. I do know people at the Comedy Store. And then so sometimes I'm like, oh, it will just be easier for me to do that. And then it's like my day is over and I like didn't write a joke or work anything. Not about you, but like with the other things. So that's what I was feeling. So then that was like,
Did you just
that was,
low-key
like, a
give me
trigger.
the finger?
No, I promise I didn't.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't really think you did anything wrong at all. And in that moment, it just popped up because I was thinking about things where I was feeling like overextended. And then, so when I get off the plane, that guy that was looking at me taps me on the shoulder. I'm on the phone, taps me on the shoulder, and he goes, look. And it's a picture of me and him sitting on an airplane like 2 years ago together.
Not you agape sleeping.
But he might have also, but who cares? I don't give a shit. Maybe he was going to DM that to me and be like, look, or something. So then he does that. And then I go, oh, cool. Thanks, man. And I'm on the phone, right? And then that could have been it. But instead, I started to feel bad. I went, oh, I'm being too cold to this person. Even though I'm tired, I have to get ready for my shows. I'm not having a day where I want to chat with people. I then I seek him out on the shuttle to go to baggage claim.
To make amends.
So I can make amends to him.
When you really didn't have to.
I didn't have to talk to him.
No, you were on the phone. He shouldn't be
busy,
fucking with you anyway.
And it's like, I already had inappropriately talked to him because I remembered who he was when we were on the shuttle. Oh boy. So,
you remembered him.
Yeah, because
what was his deal?
He had a service dog. Okay. We were
You
sitting
like
in
dogs.
the first. Yes, I do. But really, I made a mistake with my opening line. I sat down and I went, that's a fake service dog thing, right? And he went, no, and then proceeded to tell me over and over again his PTSD story, because once you trigger someone's PTSD, they just tell it over and over and over again. And then I'm trapped in this situation that I created where I want to be this like support to this stranger, but I am also, again, on my way to go perform somewhere.
You becoming his service dog.
I'm becoming and it's not he's done nothing wrong. It's literally all my mouth and me getting myself into this.
That's perfect though.
And then
see, we should do a sitcom, and that's the first scene where you want to fuck with somebody, make fun of their dog, and then go on with your day. But then he wants to take your time.
Well, I just want to find out how you get a fake service dog thing so I could bring my dog on, And then he was like, it's not fake. It's the one person in the world that wasn't faking his service dog.
But I'm sure you do shit like that all the time.
Yes, and it's just always. And then what happens is I had to set a boundary with myself to like stop inviting plain people to shows, because plain people heckle. Plain people think they know you. They think they have an extra thing. I can no longer give free tickets to people. I've just now started not letting people have free meet and greet anymore, because I don't. It's not like I like my meet and greets. I like meeting my fans and I like hearing their stories and stuff and like what's resonated with them and stuff. But it's like they're a little dark, the stories. And I have 2 shows, so it's like I do an hour of a show. And then I have basically an hour of a meet and greet where people are like I wanted to make shirts that were like, show me on the teddy bear where you were touched. And then I would sign wherever they were telling me they got molested. I would sign that part. And it's fine. Like I like chosen ones. But when I realized like people weren't buying merch and they were like coming, taking pictures, telling me their stories, I was like, this is like, there's not an appropriate exchange.
Well, you're on your ascent, and you're in maybe phase 2 of Annie Lederman world domination. And for phase 2 to go off, you need to shed that shit.
Yeah.
Why should there be people from planes doing free meet and greets at all?
But also it's like you can just buy, I have these posters, this Danny DeVito drawing I drew that I'm really proud of, that I love. And it's my artwork, and I sell posters for $15. Like you get them signed. It's like, if you can't afford that poster, then I don't have time to take a picture with you. People
are giving away Dopey Patreon codes and coming to fucking Dopey Zooms, not listening to the show. Who are these people?
I know.
We work so hard.
I know. It's just, it's just an inappropriate exchange is what it is. It has to be an exchange.
Right.
There has to be an appropriate exchange, or it's fucking weird, or I'm just giving you my energy and my light.
So how did we wind up here though?
So then I realized that the day before I went, I'm about to be super famous. And then the next day I was shown all of the parts of myself that are blocking me from being super famous, where I'm afraid of being overexposed, saying too much on a podcast, having too many listeners, having too many people wanting to take pictures with me and stuff. And it was just like, it was so cool when I realized that, when I was like, oh, that was just me, my subconscious showing me exactly what was keeping me from those goals of having a larger reach, being able to share my comedy with more people and stuff like that.
Your text to me that said, the text was like, I don't remember the text where you were like, oh, don't come to my house. You're a weirdo. I'm not comfortable with you.
Then he's like
here.
sending me, he was like trying to like name drop. He was like sending me videos of comedy.
I just figured that it would be like vouching. But
everything you did was good.
I figured like it would be vouching. And then I also said, I'll find another spot. I don't want to fuck this up. I bought a plane ticket. I don't buy plane tickets.
I think we are
We're very similar in a way. Because I do the same thing.
We're ex-addicts
Yeah.
that are acting, we're kind of annoying people.
Do you feel like you're annoying?
I think I'm a little annoying.
I'm really annoying.
You're the most annoying person I've ever met. But no, I'm just kidding. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. No, but I think
I'm just persistent.
But don't you think like so much of like sobriety, of all of these things that we do are like, it is a boundary thing. It's a boundary with yourself. It's not knowing when to stop. It's not knowing like all these things. So it's like, obviously we're gonna,
Well,
it read true to the.
My favorite thing though was your text that said, please disregard everything I just texted.
Yeah.
And then I was like, she's as fucked up as I am.
I was like,
this is the greatest. And it was
well,
like,
you know how they're like, when you're like activated, don't text people. They're like, when you're activated, don't send an email, don't text. I'm always like, nah, I'm gonna fucking I'm slapping text messages. Like
in AA, they call that restraint of pen and tongue. And that's a sober principle, to have restraint of pen and tongue.
because you go through it and you go, oh, that was what that was.
I shouldn't have fucking said that. Now,
What, your AA jargon?
No.
Balk is my favorite.
balk.
Remember at the beginning, they're like, and those balk.
Sometimes we balked.
we balked.
Yes. You don't like AA anymore.
I never liked AA.
But you did it for a minute.
But you know what I found out about AA? That a lot of people don't like it. Whitney goes to me once. She goes, yeah, nobody likes a bitch. She's like, of course, that's the point. And I was like, oh, it never occurred to me.
The thing I heard is you go until you like it.
Oh, okay.
You like go, how long do I have to go? And the lady said, you go until you like it.
Until you enjoy
I
it.
kind of like it.
No.
I like aspects of it.
No, there were aspects of it that I really liked. And I never like to really talk too much about not liking it because I know that it's just it's like a very powerful tool. And I always recommend people, if people ask me if they want to get sober and they ask my advice, I always say, go do your 90 and 90.
Did it remind you of Quaker stuff at all?
Mm-mm.
What is Quaker stuff like?
Quaker is you sit and, well, there's programmed and unprogrammed. I was unprogrammed Quaker, which is like the hippie shit. And you just go, you sit in silence, and they're facing benches. So it's like benches that are all facing each other. And the meeting house that I grew up in, Green Street Friends School meeting, was really cool. It was also my elementary school, but it was just this old creaky building with these creaky benches. So like I needed that because I have ADD. So to sit in silence was actually insane. It was actual torture.
But the creek made you feel okay?
But the creek was good, and they would have a fire going, and the fire popping would
crackling,
be amazing.
yeah.
And then I would wear a watch that beeped. I had like a Timex, waterproof because I was a swim team kid, and it would beep, and I would set it, but you couldn't hear it if it was under me, so I'd be like waiting for it to go off, and then I would like sit on it, and I had a shirt that had a telephone on it that had like an actual like telephone cord thing.
Yeah.
So I would wear that. Like I had like things that I would do.
Fidget things.
But then if you feel moved to speak, so you sit in silence, and then if you feel moved to speak, you stand up and speak. And it was supposed to, in the back of the day, it was like God speaking
the
to
spirit
you.
moving.
But
in.
people say whatever they want, and I stood up.
What did
every
you say?
fucking time. My twin brother told me that the one he remembers is me. He was like, you would just stand up and say these like really kind of like, like I know. I remember standing up and being like, I was basically trying to get like
Laughs.
not laughs. I was trying people to be like, wow, this kid something. But I remember standing up and being like,
this kid's
think
something.
about like
what,
the kids
though?
in Somalia.
Oh,
just being
deep
like,
thoughts.
So
Right,
Quaker,
right.
So sweet.
Right.
But then I remember talking about this in Quaker meeting, and this is still a thing that I'm always like, did everyone have these thoughts when they're little? But I used to always kind of like trip on the idea of like when I was in kindergarten, like one of my earliest memories is just like laying in bed and being like, how am I me? Like, how did I get to be me where I'm looking out of these eyes and my mom is my mom, my dad's my dad. Like if I was born my neighbor, my dad would be named Bill.
It's such an interesting thought, right?
And I would be like, it's just like I couldn't. And now like kind of with the work that I'm doing, I'm like, oh, I guess I like this is the body I chose.
That your soul sought
And I'm
out
psyched. It's
this
pretty
vessel.
good. I feel lucky. I like this vessel.
Now, my daughter is on the swim team, and
Okay.
she's just turned 14.
I thought you were going to say the spectrum. Didn't it sound like he was going to say the spectrum?
No,
Probably the spectrum.
No, I don't think she's on
No,
this.
good
Not
girl.
my younger one. I think might be on the
We're
spectrum.
all a little
My older,
divergent.
not as much, but she's on the swim team. And when I heard you talking about what happened,
My car accident?
the
Yeah.
whole story from swim team to everything,
Yeah.
it gave me pause. You know what I mean? It freaked me out a little bit because I
Because
like.
she's on the swim team.
She's a good kid, and
How
she's
old is she?
14.
14.
It's like the bad stuff is coming. you know?
Maybe.
It has to
But
come.
no, but here's the thing. Sometimes I feel like we think our kids are going to be bad. I don't have kids, but you know what I mean? Because we were bad.
Yeah.
But it might skip a fucking generation.
I was very, very sweet until I was older teen. I was
Okay.
like good. I was like her. I was manipulative. I made sure everybody thought I was doing like the right stuff.
Yeah.
But I wasn't on the swim team. Like I wasn't exerting myself. And I
Yeah.
think did you think that the exertion was good for you?
I don't even know how we became swimmers, but I think really what it came down to with swimming for me was we started when I was like around 7, and I had a coach, Joe Jackson, this guy who was just so awesome. And I think I just was starved for attention.
Father figure
And
shit.
he was just really like, he really believed in me and he really pushed me. And I think I ended up like, I got an award, like a most improved award. And that was like, I was always looking for, and what I realized as an adult now, like very recently, the thing that I always need to tell myself that I didn't get when I was a kid was just like, you're doing really good, keep going. I just didn't have that.
Encouragement.
Yeah, just encouragement. Like, this is great.
I didn't
keep
have
going.
any encouragement at all.
I know, it's so weird, right?
Well, it is. But I wound up becoming a horrible heroin addict. But I wasn't
You were good at
molested.
that,
I wasn't molested.
Yeah.
And you had this horrible
Yeah.
thing happen to you. Yet. You know, but that's the fucked up thing is that this is a fucked up thing. My wife is sure that I was molested because my father had a very, very good friend at his school
Who was a molester?
who was a principal. And later in my life, I wound up staying. He had a studio apartment in Brooklyn Heights with a loft bed. And he was like, he went to Thailand every year.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you can stay at my house. So I went up in the loft bed and I find a pamphlet
porn?
on the side. And it was a magazine hand-drawn, how to pop a boy's cherry. Horrible. Then I went on his computer, just Thai dicks on his computer.
Yeah.
Horrible.
But you weren't his type.
No, I was certainly not his type.
Yeah.
But they say a huge percentage of opiate addicts were molested.
Yeah.
And like my wife is, and I think I would remember. I'm ready to do hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
Have you ever done hypnotherapy?
I do hypnotherapy a lot.
Regression stuff?
I don't do the regression. Actually, I had a thing today where we did future. That was fucking awesome.
You go into the future? Do you think,
It's good.
what, the future looks good?
Awesome.
What did you see?
I have this movie that I'm writing with my friend Bonnie McFarlane, and it was like our premiere. and-
Rich Voss was at DopeyCon.
Oh, I love Rich.
He didn't love DopeyCon. He
I
wasn't
mean,
that
he
into
probably
it.
did like it, but
I
did
don't
he
know.
not do well?
He was not there for the event. He was there for the money. It was very
How's the
clear.
money?
He wanted the money.
How's the money?
Not good. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It was horrible. It was horrible. But Bonnie's super funny. Rich is
Yeah.
funny too. He doesn't, I think I annoy him.
Well,
Exactly. Now I want to talk about,
Rich and I have a lot in common. We love Bonnie McFarlane, and we find him very annoying.
it's fucked up. I don't know how I set myself up for these things. Do you think your alcoholism was affected by that trauma?
I think 100%. I think that I was like, let's see. Because when I started drinking, I had like memories. Like I actually don't, I have no interest in uncovering these memories really. I think I would be able to like process it without like actually knowing the whole thing. Cause I've done like a little bit of work on it. And what I realized is I can kind of like change the timeline of it. So I do have memories of like my mom worked for this organization, and one of the women, it was like the
Grey
like
Panthers?
Grey Panthers for elderly rights and stuff. And so one of the women that she worked with had a husband, Jack, who had this like hearing aid and this beard, and he would come over and he like loved to tickle me. I was like his favorite kid. And it was like, you want attention. So you're like, oh, I'm the favorite, but I didn't like it too. It was like
Well, some old stranger tickling you is,
yeah, but you're like, oh, it's cool. I'm someone's favorite, I guess, you know? And then I have the memory of him like chasing me into the room. But it's funny. It's like when I quit drinking and I would go out to a club or something, because, you know, I was doing comedy right away. And so I remember going out, I would do shows with Donnell Rollins in New York, and we went out and there were some like comedians and stuff. And I was kind of getting hit on by this one guy. And I remember like feeling the same way. It's like that same feeling of like, I guess it's cool I'm getting attention, but I don't like this attention. And I wanted to drink. So I was like drinking. I didn't want to like, I had a cranberry and I was just like drinking my cranberry juice. You know, I had like a virgin Cape Cod or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is what I used to do. Whenever I had that uncomfortable thing, I would just get drunk. I would just interrupt it because I didn't want to have to like reject people or set up a boundary.
So
So it does seem related.
what seems related? Oh,
The way I felt by that guy, that sort of attention.
yeah, it's like everybody wants to know why somebody's a drug addict or an alcoholic, and like they want to know what the thing is. Do you think it was that?
Well, I was like, I liked to black out, and I always say it was like kind of like it was like a smoke break from myself. I really hated myself. And it was weird because I also loved myself. I also knew I was good and stuff, but I just had this shame. And actually my last ayahuasca ceremony when I was in New York, that's what I really tapped into. It was like, oh, I have like so much like shame in my chest. And she kind of like shook it out of me. But just so much shame. And I think I said this on the Marin podcast too, but it's like, I think
don't
because
say
I
you
was,
said it on the Marin podcast.
Okay.
Make it sound
Edit
like
it
it's
out, edit it out.
Make it sound like it's something new.
okay. So I, because I was like let down by every adult in my life, later on with the other stuff I haven't even talked about yet, but like every adult let me down. It felt safer for me to blame myself than to blame the outside world. I was like, oh, it must have just been my fault, because to like admit that every fucking person that was supposed to protect me didn't protect me was like, it was like too scary.
Well, it's like a total lonely place. And to be a child who's not protected is a terrifying thing. And how much of the horrible things that happened to you, like, were the fact that your parents, like, were like, trust everybody, there's light in everybody. Like the thing with the dready guy.
Yeah, my high school teacher. Yeah, no, it was weird. And it's funny because I think I always craved discipline because it showed me that like
Somebody cared.
right. But of course, as a kid, I'm gonna like be like, I want freedom, I want this, I want that. And they just were like, we want you to like us. So like here, you know?
Your folks.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, do whatever you want. And it's just yeah, I just ended up, so they sent me to a school that was like no boundaries. You call your teacher by their first names, which is a sign.
Quaker
you were
school?
supposed to, no, the Quaker school you do, but the Quaker school actually was awesome. And I actually recommend Quaker schools because it is a sweet way to bring your kids up, but you at home have to be like, have boundaries. But no, my high school was for art kids and juvenile delinquents and kids with learning disabilities and bad kids. It was like a mix of the fringe.
I think 9 out of 10 dopey guests go to a school like that.
That school is a child molester school. And I am like, all I do in my life is go, do I want to just like lean towards light enough happiness, or do I want to do a Netflix documentary taking down this school? My best friend, who you actually look like, one of my best friends growing up, my next door neighbor, Matt, I was talking to him on the phone the other day, and he was saying that his girlfriend's friend was like, oh, I'm going to send my friends to this, or my daughter to this school. It's such a good school. And I was like, tell them. He's like, I didn't tell. I go, tell her not to go there.
But were you like, don't go? It's like, don't go.
Well, I'm telling him to say, because I don't know this person. I'm not going to call them. I don't know them. But to me, it's like, if they've changed, that's great. But there's a long history and lineage of them completely diddling the students. And I get like emails from someone that's like, hey, I'm a private investigator hired by the school, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm not working with the school. I ain't with the school.
How often?
I don't get those emails.
Well, how often are people who suffered molestation coming to you and being like, Annie, you helped me so much?
A lot of times, like after the Marin interview, I got like a lot, to the point where it was like, I was so, at that time I was very, very raw. And that was like I was in a relationship. It was like right when Trump got elected. And it was just I was just very raw. I was in a relationship at the time that was like, in a lot of ways very toxic, but other ways it really exposed a lot of stuff that I had been keeping in myself. I just didn't realize, I just thought everyone had gotten jerked off on by their teacher. Like, I just thought that was like an experience everyone had. I thought everyone had something fucked up. Like everyone had been running for their life in Jersey City when they were 15 from a 6'8" drag queen. I just thought, like, doesn't everyone have these crazy stories? And I also kind of like wore them as badges of honors. Like, isn't that so funny? I had this crazy life. Like, you didn't take your teacher to court? That's so weird. And then I had this boyfriend that was like, the things that happened to you were like absolutely unacceptable and not normal. And I was like, oh, and then I was very raw, and I was very mad at my parents. And I was just really raw. And then I did Marin's podcast. So it was like I was like really in it. I now don't feel activated like that. And I found out so many more things about the school. There's so many more teachers, like teachers getting busted with like kiddie porn. I mean,
how does
bad.
the dude wind up jerking off on you though?
He was an art teacher and he wanted to draw me nude.
And he posed you and
then he sat on me and then jerked off.
But
then he was like, I have to get naked. It was
horrible.
I just froze.
And your drinking was like exploded in that period.
Yeah. Well, the way they got me to come to their house, it was 2 teachers with dreads. One was my English teacher, and then one was my art teacher. They were married. And then she'd be like, oh, I'm going to tutor you. And basically she would write my papers for me. My mom wrote my papers for me. I am actually a really good writer, but I suffered from nobody going, good job, keep going. So I would get I was a perfectionist. I was like really wanted to be perfect. Could have been the old being called a selfish cunt as a kid or whatever. Like whatever, like things that happened under 7.
Did you say you were being called a selfish cunt?
Right. Like I don't know, whatever. But it was just like, so much of what we deal with on our daily basis as adults is just shit that happened when we were under 7. It's just things that things that get into our neural pathways that are just like so nonsensy. But one of those things was just like really low self-worth and really feeling like it was like I knew I was good, but then there was just this part of me that was like, or am I really bad, And so with writing, it was like I like had like artistic poetic tendencies and stuff, but I just never could really do the follow through because I would lose faith in myself and in my writing and stuff. And so my mom just kind of would write the stuff for us because it would just go by faster.
My parents would do that stuff for me too.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
And I got no encouragement.
Yeah.
I don't remember any encouragement like my whole life.
How many siblings did you have?
I had an older sister.
Yeah. I think they just are like, let's just get shit done.
I don't think she got any encouragement either, but my sister looks at our life like it was perfect.
Yeah, my brothers were like that too.
And my sister fucking hated me. She still hates me though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. How hard was it to stop drinking? You didn't go to rehab.
I'm so jealous that you got to go to rehab.
I went to rehab
Was it fun?
Several times.
Was it ever
yeah,
fun?
it was always
yeah,
fun.
You met friends.
It was always fun. I met Chris at rehab.
I know.
You hook up at rehab.
Oh,
you do drugs at rehab. It is really, it's also like a fun place. Nothing else matters.
But I didn't realize you could check yourself in. Like I was always like thought I would get sent. I was like, someone's gonna send me to rehab eventually. Well, I crashed my sister, so my big, like what should have been my rock bottom that of course I fucking drank through. I was like, I can drink through this rock bottom I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I went to college at the College of Santa Fe. RIP, went out of business 2 times. And then the barracks burned to the ground. But I moved to Santa Fe. I didn't drink for the first year. So after the stuff happened, and I ended up taking that teacher to court when I was 16. And it was actually just very horrific, the whole thing. Less the event and more the aftermath and the sort of betrayal of your whole life being told to tell the truth, especially growing up Quaker. You tell the truth, you do the right thing, you help people. And doing that against all odds, standing up against this predator, standing up against the school, having zero support. Everyone mad at me, people spitting on my car door handle, the teachers treating me weird.
Who's spitting on your car door handle?
The other students. He was buying us weed and alcohol and stuff, so they all
He
thought
was like
cool.
the hero.
Mm-hmm. And then other teachers like wanting me to be quiet.
He comes on you. The other kids spit on your because
That's a lot of liquids.
That's horrible.
A lot of stickies.
A lot of sticky liquids. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, but as an adult, like I really honor that person I was, because that was fucking badass. That was so cool that I did that, and I did it with so little support. Like I really just did it because like of my own like internal beliefs of like stopping something from happening to someone else. Now where I'm at, it's like I have to always balance that, where it's like I don't want to be hyper vigilant. I don't want to like live in the PTSD of that event, and it's not my responsibility to always be like protecting and doing that, because that is like not.
You can't do that all the time.
I don't want to do that.
You can't do it
it's
all the time.
It's a lot.
But it's like what I said to you when we first sat down, like in the Marin show, you were like, I can't even say I'm pretty. And now I heard you on a show the other day, you're like, I'm a fucking rock star. I'm beautiful. Yeah. It's like, this is real.
I'm so lucky.
Transformation.
Karma, I have good karma. You should tell on Bad Guys. It makes you look so much younger than 40 when you're 40.
Wait, what?
I just look young. I don't know. It's probably good karma.
It's definitely good karma.
I look so young.
Now, did you do a lot of other drugs?
I did. Let's see.
You didn't like opiates. Did you
I
like
didn't really
coke?
like opiates.
You liked psychedelics.
Coke. So I have like fun memories of doing coke in college because it was like the cool kids did coke and it was like the cool older kids. I knew I was like initiated into the crew when I was doing coke with them. But it was never, it's just, I'm so hyper. I didn't ever need it.
Your brain is a mile a minute.
Yeah, I don't need coke. But weed was like interesting because weed is, I think a lot of my self-worth stuff is all tied into like procrastination, into not being able to finish my papers, into my mom doing my work for me, like all of these things. So weed for me is just like another thing blocking my ability to
get anything done.
Stuff done.
Yeah.
I love when people can use it to be more creative. I have never been one of those people. I love when people view it as a medicine. God bless you. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Does not work for me.
It made me more creative, and it worked as a medicine for me, but it also worked as the greatest procrastination tool in the world. It was all those things.
I couldn't do a fucking thing. And because I'm like so cracky about everything, I'm always like, I'm never like, oh, let's have a couple puffs. I'm always like, let's get the highest I would be like, let's get the highest we've ever been.
I've heard you say that, and I was exactly the same way.
Yeah,
Tonight, let's get the highest we've ever been.
We've ever gotten.
It's like a profound moment.
Yes.
But you've built a lot of your empire smoking weed. You can't say it hasn't done good.
I mean, I guess.
You've been on and off, and you're of an empire.
Yeah, but I don't think
Weed's been helpful.
Weed would keep me very low. It's very low vibe for me. And so I made a deal with myself that's so, I'm so happy I did it because I made it so crazy. I made it so wild. Do you know what it is?
No.
I said, I will smoke weed again when I make $100 million.
That's what I'm saying. I'm with you.
My friend goes, why didn't you just say like 10 million? And I was like, I just had to make it I just had to make it serious.
My old thing was that I would be able to do heroin again when I was 60 or I had $60 million.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do heroin again.
No, I don't want to do it.
But I would love to smoke weed with you when I have $100 million
yes.
too. I'm with you.
No, we'll be on a jet. We'll
It'll be
hotbox
happening.
the jet.
Yes.
We'll be going somewhere.
I'll be less annoying to you then. Maybe not.
No, money would make you less annoying.
What about me makes you so annoyed?
I don't think you're annoying. I'm kidding. But you're persistent. It's very nice. It's all very flattering. You really wanted me to be on the
Aren't
show.
you crazy persistent?
Yes.
Aren't you always hustling, always building the brand, always touring, always doing shows, next. This is even like, you're like, fuck it,
Always.
I'll do his stupid show.
This fucking dumb, dopey show. No, I the person that came to me with your hat,
Paulina.
sold me on
Paulina
the show.
Pacheco.
She definitely sold me on the show. It wasn't like I didn't want to do it. It's like, it's hard for me to because I don't like letting people down too. So it's like, it's just been very hard for me to explain to people like how burnt out I am. It has just been really hard. And it's like, and I hate, because I love like meeting new people. I love doing shows and stuff. And I have not been able to do shit.
And I heard you've been doing Ozempic or generic Ozempic.
I do generic Ozempic.
How is it?
Oh, it's great.
I'm thinking about it.
It's great.
Yeah?
I actually really like it.
Why? Tell me all about it.
And people are like, she needs to stop talking about it or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm like trying to
Who says you need to stop talking about it?
Random people. That
Like
don't know
people
what
who
they're
write you?
But also it's like, the thing is, it's like, I'm not stealing it from diabetic people. I wish I was. It would feel more powerful. Like if you're taking it from someone's like the hand they still have.
What do you mean?
Like diabetics get their limbs cut off.
Oh
That
yeah,
so
that would
awesome.
be
It's like,
empowering
right?
Ozempic.
I'd be
use.
like, oh my God, I actually stole this from someone that needs it. No, but the generic stuff is like very easy to get. It's really cheap. It's like, it's totally like affordable, easy to find. But I really like it. And what I think was going on I wasn't like incredibly overweight or anything, but I was.
No.
The problem is I look good at every weight, so it's hard to lose weight because I
know,
do look good at
I
every
know.
weight. But I was technically on the scale overweight.
Was it
I
like,
just hold it well.
Was it like I'm doing all this stuff on TV and I'm on all these videos and I'm like,
I have my special I want to do, all these things. It was just like I froze my eggs a little over a year ago, and I just could not lose weight afterwards. And I think it was actually more my energy being zapped.
My friend just started it, and she said it's stolen all of her energy.
I think a lot of people have a bad reaction to it, and I think those people should listen to their bodies. And it's kind of like with weed, where it's like some people weed really helps and is a stimulant and help and whatever for them. It's a depressant for me, and for me, Ozempic helps me. It calmed my mind where I talk myself out of things like going to the gym and things like that. Now I haven't worked out in a while because of my.
Because the Ozempic is working so good.
No. But it is kind of fucking amazing. You don't have to do shit, but it will make you floppy and.
You feel floppy?
Yeah, I'm a little. I'm usually very strong, and it's not that I'm not strong, but it
Physically
does. It will
strong.
take your muscle away. So you have to eat a lot of protein and work out a lot. But I am doing that. It's just I had a chest problem. Randy, come here. Come here, cute boy.
I asked Dr. Drew because they had a claim that Ozempic cures addiction.
It does. And it helps
Dr.
with
Drew says
ADD.
no.
He's got to interview me.
You got to call him.
It literally is helping me with my ADD. I don't know what it is.
Look, your dog likes me.
Oh, I know. He's so cute.
Nobody
Do you like
likes
little Cracky?
me. It's nice. That's
Do you
very
like your
nice.
Cracky friend?
What was I going to say? Hey, you have to ask Dr. Drew about Ozempic. Former Dopey intern Claire, former Dopey associate producer Claire, wants to know, have you ever boofed any substances?
Ketamine.
You boofed ketamine. What was
Yeah.
tell me when?
I'm not going to
Last
tell you
week?
when because it's going to be dark.
Why dark?
Because it wasn't that long ago. But
like
I
last
got
night?
a little, but no. It was last year. But I was, and I also have like, I believe in ketamine as a medicine.
Yeah.
Like big time.
So does Amelia.
Like 100%. As a party drug, I think it is really, really, really bad and toxic.
Why?
Because, for me, it just hit that addictive.
Were you doing a lot of ketamine?
I was.
When?
Last year.
Okay. This is I'm uncovering something here.
So I was, it's making me even itch my nose. It's so funny because my mother-in-law was like, I think because my twin brother has Tourette's. And I was like, oh, I used to have like little tics. And she goes, I think you have when you do like this. And I go, did you notice it last year? Because if you noticed it last year, it was because I was.
It was pre-boofing. You were
ketamine.
constantly
I was
putting
doing
up your nose.
Well, my nose was clogged. So I was like, I'll try this.
How was
I
it?
just wanted to try it. Not good.
You didn't like it up the butt.
It's not.
Not as good.
You are insane if you're boofing something. If you're boofing something, it's not good.
Everybody says boofing meth is way better than any other way.
I just think boofing, it was like a funny, like I wanted to try it. I was trying to get Josh Potter to do it with me once. He was like, I'm not boofing it. But Josh is such like I don't know if you know him, he's such a stunt guy. So I'm like, I feel stunt girl. I was doing it in like a stunt girl way. I was like, I want to boof this, see what it's like. And then I didn't even really tell people about it because I actually felt shameful after I did it. I went, ugh.
So who did you tell?
Your listeners.
Is this the
I don't
first
think
time? Is this a
Todd- I don't
boofing?
think I told Todd.
This is a boofing
I
exclusive?
don't usually keep things from Todd, but boofing was a little embarrassing.
I've never boofed anything. I didn't even understand how it could work. And then I was wondering if the asshole becomes the third nostril and somehow sucks it up. Or do you have water, powder? How are
put
you?
water and like I never really understood the. I was trying.
Your
and
hand,
then I was
turkey
like,
basting, syringe?
yeah, it's like a little like one of those little like medicine syringes for kids or whatever.
That's what you
Have
use.
Boofed?
I haven't boofed. No.
You haven't boofed.
No.
You're looking so like.
Amelia loves you. She's
I also love ketamine.
she loves you and ketamine.
I love ketamine so much. I think it's such a good. I liked it as a party drug for a little while. Like obviously in high school was like the fucking shit. I remember on New Year's 2000, my friends and I were 16 and he had a sister that was 23, this like hot bitch sister, and she had all these cool hot friends, and they had this house in Manayunk, and we went to this like crazy like adult party, and I drove like my parents' 1993 Camry, and we get there and we're like doing a bunch of drugs and we think it's coke, and I take like a big, and then I'm like, fucking K-hole. I'm like, oh my God, like, holy shit. I think everyone probably has that story. And we're like so drunk and so fucked up. And then a guy comes in off the street that is not invited to the party and gets in a fight with one of the guys. And then I think there's a racial slur said, and then a window kicked in. This is Philly. There's always a
total
racial slur.
mayhem.
And then a window's kicked in, and then everyone's kicked out. Now we were going to sleep over because we're the children. And then I think because cops were coming, they're like, no, children, you got to get the fuck out of here now. So I'm like barely coming out of a K-hole. And I'm like to my friend, John, like, you're going to drive, right? And he's like, I'm not driving. I'm fucked up. So I'm like, oh my God. So I remember I had to drive home.
in the KO.
Well, I mean, I'm a little bit out of it, but I'm
Right.
like,
Fucked.
what of all the drugs to be on? It's not the worst one to be on while you're driving. But I was just really, and I've been drinking, and I just remember like people beeping to go through the red light. You know,
I want to go back to last year though. You had a problem last year.
I
How
felt
did
a
you
little bit.
how did you get out of it?
What I liked about party ketamine, I think, was that it felt like I could do a drug that wasn't that big a deal.
It's so
It
loosey-goosey.
just didn't feel like a lot. You don't feel that, to me, I didn't feel that messed up, and it doesn't last that long, and you're still able to communicate with people depending, you were able to do not that much. And so for me, it felt like, okay, so I think a lot of my addiction is what it used to be, like repressed shame, repressed guilt, all this stuff. But also a lot of it is my dad and I love to be bad, and we do it with food. My dad will look at me when I'm visiting and he'll go, "Do you want to go to the grocery store and get something BAD?" And we'll like go get cake and like shove food in our mouths.
Your
and stuff.
special time together.
Exactly. It's like this doing something gluttonous that's bad, right?
Together though.
So yes, it's like
Sharing
a loving,
it.
exactly. So I think when I found ketamine again at later times in my life, it didn't feel like, I didn't feel like bad doing it. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm a bad person. This is a bad drug. This is like whatever. Cause it just wasn't that, it just didn't get me that fucked up. So it was fine. So I could be around a bunch of people drinking, and I could still I could hang out longer. And weed actually felt way more dangerous to me, because weed would it would ruin my life. But then I started having the baggies of ketamine around, and then it was like, oh, I want to work on my set for tonight. Oh, instead I'll do ketamine. And the way I was doing it didn't feel like I was learning. Like when I do ketamine medically, it's like, I learn a lot. I don't feel depressed. The way I was doing it was making me depressed. It was making me tired. I wasn't
It was
sleeping.
too much. It's a
wasn't-
depressant,
yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah, I don't know. For me,
How'd you
that way was-
stop?
I just stopped. I had a moment. I was on an airplane. I just realized that there's sacrifices I need to make for my goals and the things that I want to do. I feel like I'm on this planet to make people laugh, make people feel good, and that I'm dimming my light when I do these things. And so I was on an airplane. I had a little baggie of ketamine, because doing it on an airplane is actually kind of, you're like,
It's very
"Crazy, I'm
relaxing."
on an airplane.
Yeah.
I'm on ketamine. But I went and I had my little bag, and I had like a little ceremony for myself, and I did most of it. And then when there was a little left, I had a little thing. I said to my spirit guides, I was like, I am sacrificing this for my special, for my jokes, for my future, for Anniewood, for, just all of the things that I want, for building this thing for my light or whatever. And then I just dumped out in the toilet.
And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last time.
I'm good at quitting things. I can fucking quit the shit out of something. But I do think the medical stuff I do actually think is incredible, and it will completely redirect your neural pathways. It's very good for people that are getting on antidepressants, where it takes so long for the antidepressant to work.
I hear it's amazing for PTSD.
It's really good for PTSD.
Suicidal ideation.
And if you have a guide with you and someone you're talking to, it can really be so cool.
I only did ketamine by choice once, and I was young, and I was at a club, and somebody was trying to get me to buy a pound of weed. I think I was in a limo. He's like, "Try this." He had a huge fucking mound of ketamine. I sniffed it, and I fell out of the limo onto the ground. But then later, someone had started replacing the heroin with ketamine.
Yeah.
And I would find myself sleepwalking. I found myself falling off the couch into forward rolls. I'm not usually very limber.
Yeah.
But the real crazy thing was that, I just want to tell you the story because I think you'll think it's funny. I go to bed and I wake up outside of my apartment, closing the door in my underwear, because I walked out of the apartment on ketamine.
Wow.
And the door woke me, the sound of the fucking lock clicking woke me up.
You were outside?
Yeah.
In the street?
No. I was in an apartment
okay.
building,
Yeah.
but I had no clothes.
Oh,
I had to
was
call
me
my
drinking.
dad. It was
I always couldn't find my pants. I would be in there was one night, one of my last nights drinking was in New York. I had moved to New York, so I was drinking in Santa Fe. I crashed my scooter. This was my should have been my
Your
rock
bottom.
Should have been. I was fucking wasted. This was when we were talking about rehab. It was how many years had I been in Santa Fe? Maybe 7 or 8 years I'd been in Santa Fe, 7 years. And I had a motor scooter, And I would go around, I would like beep at people, flash people, like, I was like crazy, Santa Fe bitch. And one night I was so wasted and I was like, it was my friend's 30th birthday and I was going to give him a blowjob for his birthday. And that's so embarrassing. But
As a present for just
for
a
his
friend.
birthday.
That's amazing.
Isn't that nice?
Oh yeah. I wish I had. I don't.
I
Have
made him, but I made him buy me
friends like
drinks
that.
all night. I was like, "It's your birthday, buy me shots," and I was fucked up. And then we're gonna go to my friend Daniel's house, and but I always say it like saved me. I may have gotten wounds all over my body, but it saved me from the wounds that reappear all the time from my friend Albert, who would have definitely given me herpes all over my face and body. Such a filthy man, but
That was a huge fear you had too.
of getting STDs.
Herpes.
Did I say that?
I've heard you say on somewhere that you were always afraid.
I did. Well, because I was so like, I would black out and hook up with people. And I just like, I can't believe I never got herpes. It was like crazy. I got shingles. That was the only herpes I ever got. And chickenpox.
Shingles is such an old Jewish lady
I couldn't
thing.
believe it. I was 19 when I got it. I was like, what am I, what is this? I thought it may as well be
I
yellow fever.
got
was
the
like, what the hell is this?
shingles. My
It was
grandma
so
always
insane.
had shingles.
And then once you get them, you're always susceptible. They're herpes. They're a type of herpes.
So what happened? You woke.
So I was driving to my friend's house and I peeled out on gravel and I woke up with my chin completely split open, cuts all over my face. I had road rash all over my tits, like down to my nipple.
Oh my God.
Cuts all over like my front of my arms. And yeah, I just crashed and I couldn't remember anything. And I woke up and I was living at my friend's house and he was at his girlfriend's house. So I called him. I was like, hey, you got to like take me to the hospital. And they like sewed me up. I was still so wasted. And I called my parents the next day and they're like, you called us last night. So I guess I called them after I crashed and I'd been like, I'm fucked up. I need to go to rehab. Like, and my mom said, you don't need rehab for drinking. You need rehab for life. Cause they were trying to get me to do the Landmark Forum.
Did you ever do that?
I did do it.
How was that? I had a friend who swore by
I did it, and then I had like something happen in the program that made me not interested in
What
continuing.
happened?
Well, I don't want to get a defamation suit or anything, but it was pretty bad.
Was it along the lines of other things that had happened to you?
But it
You're
didn't happen to me.
It's horrible.
I know. I'm in a weird place where it's like I'm always like, I want to
You're a
like.
magnet.
I am, but not anymore. But I was a magnet. I think it was like these are like lessons that I had to learn in my life to level me up to where I am spiritually. Because I do think like, I just think I learned so many things so young, and I feel really like very proud of how I have navigated through life.
And I don't
very
blame
proud
you.
of
I'm
myself.
not blaming you when I say you're a magnet.
No.
Because also like
No, I don't think you are either. But I do think that I do think that it was like these are like lessons that I.
That's why you didn't want
learn.
us to come today.
I was like, this guy's so creepy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's good.
No, but I told you I'm like in my beginning stages of like strong boundaries, and you're one of my.
So
Testings.
Manifesting the next phase of Annie Lederman world domination, what does it look like?
What is the type? What do I do?
What
to
are you going to
manifest
do?
it?
What are you going to do?
What are my plans?
Yeah, what are your plans?
I have this horror movie I'm working on. I also have this sort of like cute brother sister rom-com that I started with Dan Powell like 7 years ago, and now we're revisiting it. But it's so funny. Like I have this like big time guy who's like doing all this. He's Amy Schumer's producer, and we had this deal that we were working on that was like with one of these studios years ago. And I didn't know how to like work with people at that point, and I didn't know how to like assert my voice. And now I totally can. So it's like it's good timing, but. He kept hitting me up and being like, when are we going to do this again? And I was like, didn't know how to explain to him. Like, I'm so zapped. It's like, seems impossible. But now that I'm streamlining all of my things, I'm like, I have so much time now. I'm like so excited.
So you'd want to be like a movie star?
Sure.
With that,
Why not?
I have another Claire question.
But I have like, I want to write a book. I want to finish these movies. The fucking horror movie I have written is so funny. I'm going to be in a horror movie, but I'm not going to talk about it yet.
What's the horror movie?
Well,
can you give us any?
I mean, it was announced already, and then I thought I wasn't going to be in it, so then I got all salty. But then I am going to be in it again. But it hasn't been shot yet, so then I don't want to talk about it. But it's Terrifier 3.
What about the thing that the idea that you're going to write?
Okay, the movie. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but it's so fucking funny and it's so good, and it's going to be like a comedy horror.
What about Ecstasy? You seem to me like somebody that would really like Ecstasy.
I did do Ecstasy.
Last Tuesday.
No. The last time I did Molly was like I quit everything when it was still ecstasy. Then Molly came around and I did do Molly I do like hallucinogen weekends in the desert with like Doug Stanhope's crew.
No way.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's great. Doug doesn't come anymore. It's so annoying. You have to drag him out. There's actually something I want to go to in Vegas with him, but Todd won't get off of work. But
So what hallucinogens are you guys doing together?
it's like whatever you bring.
Acid in
but
the eyes? Ever liquid acid in the eyes?
I actually never did acid in the eyes.
DMT vape pen?
I do DMT. DMT vaping ain't shit. It's bullshit.
All
The
right.
fuck is that pen? It's nothing. I'm like, I had a friend that I had like basically a friend dump because she was being so annoying. She'd be like, oh my God, like now I understand why DMT. I'm like, she just did the pen. I'm like, bitch, you ain't never done DMT. She's like, the fractals. I'm like, DMT blasts you into another universe. I'm like, what are you? And she'd be like, I'm like, you didn't see shit, bitch.
So are you smoking DMT with the Doug Stanhope Las Vegas crew?
No. I did DMT with my ex-boyfriend and with my best friend from college and her husband. who were,
DMT
like,
is
living together.
fantastic.
Have you done it?
I did.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I never thought I was going to get to do it.
Was it after quitting drinking?
Well, I
And Alcohol?
barely drank. It was my first run of sobriety, and I had an old friend who we played in a band. Like the dog likes me.
He does like
Nobody likes me, and the dog likes me. It's very nice. And there's a chemist in the band that made DMT, and he's like, I have DMT, and
Is
I
that
was
weird
like,
people make it?
it's amazing.
I smell it sometimes places too.
You just smell DMT.
Yeah.
What?
Just like-
You might be smelling my socks.
no, I don't smell it right now.
Okay, good.
That's why he likes you stink.
He likes my stink. What about toads? Licking toads?
I never did that. No.
What's the craziest hallucinogen you ever did?
Ayahuasca.
You ever did ibogaine?
Mm-mm.
That's a strong one.
I like San Pedro a lot. Is really cool.
That's the cactus.
But
That's
San
mescaline.
Pedro, yeah. San Pedro after ayahuasca is really good because ayahuasca can take you to some like dark places, but then San Pedro is like a heart opener and very light. So you know you're going to be like, whatever got emptied out will be filled with light and you'll be happy when you leave.
I never did San Pedro or
It's cool.
peyote. You did peyote? It's the same thing.
If it's the same thing, yeah.
I think it's similar. Did you have a good time? Was this good for
On
you?
this, yes,
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
I should have prepared a quiz. Amelia, do you have any questions? How much time is this?
We're at 1:26.
That's perfect. Did you have a good
Yeah.
time?
I did have a good
Are
time.
you glad you let us come?
I did. Guys, boofing's embarrassing. Don't do it. I'm here to tell you not to boof.
You don't think the
You
anus
can
is the
do
third
whipped cream
nostril?
whippets till you die and it doesn't count as a relapse, but you cannot boof. Don't boof.
They love boofing.
You love boofing? Okay,
They
boof.
love it.
Boof.
What about poppers? Amyl
I never did
nitrate. Me neither.
poppers.
Me neither. There's a lot of drugs I didn't get to do. It's okay. I feel good about it. Thank you,
I want a
Annie.
nitrous tank.
Me too. I haven't been to the
I will say, wait, I do want to say my like quitting drinking though. I never even talked about quitting drinking.
So,
You
please.
didn't even ask me.
I think I did. I think you dodged the
I have
question.
ADD. I
I did ask you.
I quit drinking when I was 25 years old.
You quit drinking first when you were 15.
I quit drinking first when I was 15
Yes.
after all of that shit. And then in college I started drinking again. And then I quit drinking when I was 25. It was like 6 months after my scooter accident. And I moved to New York to do comedy. And I just realized that I couldn't do both because I did my first open mic. I went home with an incredibly unfunny comedian.
Who is that? Was it Colin Quinn?
You would never know who it was. You would never know him.
It wasn't Colin.
You know what? That's mean to say.
I'm just kidding. I love Colin. I love Colin Quinn. He won't come on the show. He won't come on the show.
Because you're a fucking asshole.
I am not an asshole.
Did you
Please.
try annoying him more?
Yes, I've tried everything I could
He
think of.
actually annoyed me so much for so many years. It's so crazy.
Me
I
or Colin
relapsed.
Quinn?
I literally almost started drinking again.
Me or Colin?
You.
Oh. Anyway, who was the dude?
I'm not going to say his name because
Was it Modi?
No, it's no one you would
Do you know
like,
Modi?
I do think I know Modi, but you wouldn't know him. And like his credit is that I quit drinking.
Well, it's a great
Do you
credit.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was my rock bottom. But I just really wanted to do stand-up. It was the only thing I've ever wanted to do. And I just knew I was going to be good at it. And I knew I could do it. I just fucking knew. And so after my first open mic, when I woke up on that guy's air mattress the next day, I was like, this ain't what I want. I want to work on stand-up. This is like going to be my job.
It's so cool to me.
And fucking quit. And then did my 90 and 90 and then quit AA. Went back to hook up with a guy. Not hot. Wasn't cool. And to promote my shows. How dick. I came back. I was like, I have a stand-up show if you guys want to come.
You went to AA to promote the show.
Yeah, I was like,
Nice.
maybe I get some AA people. And then, you know what? I think I had this sponsor, and God bless her, Shalom, lovely lady. She was very like, I think, and maybe this is what a lot of people need, but because I transferred my sort of obsession with drinking and partying into stand up, I kind of was good. I was like covered. And I was like, I just know that if I keep doing this, I'm going to be able to be incredibly successful at this. I just know. And she was like, it's such like the alcoholic thing to say. She's like, I used to want to be a fashion designer, but now I just am a seamstress and I'm happy with that. And I was like, it was just so crazy. It was like, so like
horrible.
And I was
passive
just
aggressive
like,
bullshit.
Yeah, that's the addict in you. I'm like, no, I'm going to be good at like, and my trajectory was really fast. And I do credit it to quitting drinking.
I think you are that's the secret sauce. I mean, for me, it was this podcast.
Yeah.
I started this podcast 4 months into my recovery.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have been able to do it. And it's obsession with doing it. And I wish, I don't know that I would have been good at stand-up, but I love your vision. And I love that you did it. And I love that it got you out of it and that you're on a mission. You're a rocket ship.
My special, I'm going to record my special in June. I'm so excited.
Well, good. What else? You extended the show. What else you got?
Well, if you guys want to quit drinking, you should do your 90 and 90. Don't be afraid to quit AA.
You're so annoying.
Don't forget to quit AA, guys. Well, you know what else I didn't like about AA? People, like, I was like, I'm funny, so I was going to be, what were you saying?
I was going to say, don't quit until the miracle happens.
It's just like, no, they were like, people would be like, you're going to drink again. Because I picked, for my Harrow Power, I picked Shaquille O'Neal from Kazam.
Okay.
So I would pray to him as a genie.
Yes.
And I'd be like, oh, my Shaq. It was like me and this one girl that had the same sponsor.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, my Shaq. And people were like, you're going to drink. You're not taking this seriously. And I'm like, I take nothing fucking seriously. I'm like, I don't take shit seriously. My whole life and my goal on life is to not take anything fucking seriously.
But you take things seriously.
Yes, and then I try to not be serious about it. I make jokes.
They say in AA, see, I can't believe that I've become this weirdo.
The guy that has to like.
I don't know how it happened, but it saved my life. You know what I mean?
No, I think I don't know that I would have done if I didn't go to AA in the beginning.
Yeah, AA saved you.
Did it, yeah.
And like whatever. I mean, my shit is like, I cannot risk my kids and my fucking, you know what I mean? Like
I started to feel like AA was gonna make me drink. I was like,
because you got obsessed with drinking.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then I was like, why are we talking about it all the time? I was like, I felt really complete with alcohol because I was able to transfer to this thing that I loved doing.
But that
gave me confidence rather than hid my shame, you know?
I just interviewed this guy who's he runs an overdose prevention hotline in Massachusetts. And when he got sober by becoming a volunteer fireman. And it's like, and then he got really into it. And it's like, that's the secret sauce. If you get into AA, if you get into comedy, whatever, anything. And there is no one way. The only way is to be into something and love it. Enjoy something as much as you enjoyed getting fucked up.
So AA almost felt like, it felt like a backstep for me after the 90 and 90. And I really like, I do take pause when I talk about this because I don't.
You don't want to talk people out of it.
But I don't ever want to talk anyone out of it, ever. I think it's like, you know.
Moshe Kasher fucking got sober when he was 15, left AA, and like did a whole talk about quitting AA. And then when I went to see him, I was like, oh yeah, I quit AA. And he was scared that him on Dopey was going to get people to quit. Yeah. But listen, you're obviously doing well. Yeah. You're on a path.
Well, I just was like, you know what I found myself doing?
I feel like I should sit up too.
I was like qualifying, like people would tell a story and I'd go like, they're a pussy, they're not fucking alcoholic.
But they're not real.
I'd be like, this is pussy shit.
Right.
That's all you did.
That's bullshit.
And then other people, I'd be like, am I not an alcoholic? Because I've never like had a head-on collision or whatever. You know what I mean?
You fell off that scooter.
Yeah, but I was doing all these like comparing, and then I was like, it felt like I was gonna. It felt like I had to go out and not drink for myself and not for my fellowship.
For sure. What about compulsive sex? Do you think you were a sex addict or was it just the alcohol?
100% not a sex addict. Probably the opposite. Totally uncomfortable. Didn't want to have sex. Very traumatized. Just drank so I didn't have to say no to people and would just fuck them because I was in a blackout.
So the sobriety has undone that, or the lack of drinking has undone that.
Yeah, and it's like, and I still have like sexual hangups and stuff. I mean, I just was fucking diddle central, you know. So it was just But what
are your sexual hangups?
I mean, it's it's hard for me. I think it's tied into all of the shame and stuff. Because I think when you're a kid and people
Take advantage of you.
it's like, it's just, it's nothing's ever about your pleasure. It's like, it's always like
Being something for
and
somebody
bad.
else.
And
Right.
yeah,
It's
so I
horrible.
think it's like a hard place for me to like lose control and to like focus on my own pleasure.
All right. Well, I wish you just pleasure and great
I
things.
do have a lot of pleasure now though.
Good. Very good. What else you got?
Let's see.
Anything that's popping into your head?
I know. I'm like drug wise. I hate the first step
I know. Why do you hate the first step?
because I had just done such a strong, like I needed like to feel like I did it rather than, but I do feel very connected to like my spirits.
But
like,
you know what
things
I've
like that.
heard? I've heard that I've heard from women who aren't sober that the first step is not a good step for women because women don't have an excess of power. So to be told that they're powerless is not an empowering thing for a woman.
I just felt so powerful when I quit drinking. I felt so proud of myself and so powerful. Like I was like, I did this alone. It's kind of like with the stuff with my teacher going to court. Like I did that by myself. Like I quit drinking by myself. I quit my favorite fucking thing.
That seems like more higher power shit than powerlessness. Because like you see I guess it's that Quaker thing too, because you see higher power in yourself.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't there be?
But
if God is everything.
I needed more like, I needed to have some like wins for myself. So I think that's what I felt like.
Victories, you mean?
I just did this. Yeah. I was like, I just did this. I don't want to like give my power away to God or whatever. Now I understand like a surrender, like a collaboration. Like I kind of get that. But it was at that time I was like, what the fuck? I'm not giving my power away. And then I just did not like the people that were like kind of like in charge. None of them were cool to me.
Like the thumpers.
There was no one I thought was cool. Really. I didn't look up to anyone.
No one had what you wanted.
I was cooler than them. No,
Well.
I'm just kidding. No, but I do think like comedy, like I just had something I wanted to do. And I would go to my morning meetings. And I also had like such a cool, when I was living in New York and starting comedy, it was just one of the most amazing times of my life. It was like quitting. Yes, I quit drinking and it was hard. Like it was hard to sleep in the beginning. And it was like, and I was eating a lot of like cake and stuff. And I was like, but it was like, but I also like quit smoking. And there were just like things that like, I just was like really ready to like take my life back and take responsibility. And, so living in New York and I was working as a waitress during the day.
Where at?
It was called Life Cafe.
Life Cafe by Tompkins Square Park.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it went out of business.
I was there once.
Everything always. Maybe I was your waitress.
I was there on like New Year's Eve, I think, one time.
What year?
I want to say in the early 2000s.
I was probably in a K-hole driving home.
I don't know.
But it was so cool to be like living in New York, working on Tompkins Square Park. Like the city's so alive, I had moved from Santa Fe, which was such a weird small town, to be like sober, walking through the city, having my passion, knowing what I wanted to do. I would always see like randomly, I've never told him this, but I would always see like John Mulaney everywhere. And John Mulaney was like the first comic I saw it was like not Comics Unleashed. It was one of the Comedy Central shows, his like Premium Blend or something. And I was like, I want to do that. And so he was like one of the first comics. I didn't grow up watching comedy or anything. I just kind of learned about it and I was like, oh, I want to do that. And then I had quit drinking. I was like working out all the time. I would work at Life Cafe. I'd get up at 4:30. Sometimes I'd have enough time to go to yoga. One of my friends would come by. I would give him free breakfast. He would sign me up for the open mic. I would go to another open mic, sign him up. We'd trade it was just like, I just had this routine. I found out how to get like yoga that was free. I found out how to get like massages that were cheap. They have to be sex trafficked in.
Yes.
But like it was just like, I had this like fucking crazy life that was going so well. And it was like, AA was almost like, and then I'm going to go to this church and complain. Like, I just didn't feel, I saw just like really like the forward up and going rather than the back and thinking about it.
It was self-actualization.
Yeah.
Amazing. And what comics came up with you?
Oh wait, the John Mulaney thing I was gonna say, I kept seeing him everywhere. Like it was weird. Like I'd be at the gym and he'd be there. Like I thought if he had noticed me back, he'd been, this woman is stalking me. Because he didn't know me or whatever, but it was so weird.
Was he successful at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was weird. It was just weird that he was the one I had seen. And then I was seeing it, like I would see him like random times of the day at like just different parts of the city. I was like, that is so crazy.
Well, now he's like the poster boy for sobriety too.
I know. And has a baby with my girl.
Future Dopey guest.
Yeah.
I haven't started annoying him though. I haven't figured it out.
He's got to find his end.
I haven't figured it out yet.
It ain't me. Don't fucking.
It's
don't
probably. I think it might be you.
It's not.
Are you sure?
No, John. I won't be coming for you. But it was just, yeah, it was really cool. It was lots of signs. But I think like quitting drinking gave me access to be proud of myself for things, and so that was really the.
Can
best.
I tell you something, Annie?
Are you proud of me?
I'm very proud of you.
Even with the boofing.
Especially, maybe I'm proud of you mostly
I had to
because of
try it.
because of the boofing.
I had to try it. I didn't get to go to rehab. So
That's the only drug you boofed, ketamine, last year.
I
Amazing.
wanted to try it.
I feel really good about that.
Get a little lube, shove that thing up your ass.
Little lube with
Yeah,
the
lube it up.
You lube it up, the plastic syringe, and then you
Yeah.
squirt it up.
Yeah,
And
with
it doesn't
water.
come out. Then you clench,
Clench, yeah.
and then it absorbs.
I guess so, yeah.
All right.
'Cause it wasn't as good.
You liked snorting it better.
Yeah, but it was like a nightmare and
Did you ever shoot anything?
never shot anything.
All right.
Except Ozempic.
Except Ozempic? Where do you shoot that?
In my stomach.
Does it hurt?
No.
Little jab?
I did
Every
all my,
week?
my IVF, yeah.
Weekly?
I did my IVF and stuff, so I don't.
You want to have kids?
Well, I have 4 frozen embryos, so in Alabama, I am a mother of 4.
Wow.
How fucking weird is that?
In the freezer.
Isn't that
Southern
crazy?
freezer.
You gotta keep them. But they're gonna make me happy.
How much is rent on a freezer on the eggs?
I paid like for 3 years.
So when the 3 years is up, what happens?
I
That's
don't
it?
think they can legally unplug. I think there's like all
The
these-
state claims your eggs.
It's so weird. Well, you have to like write who you would give them to. I'm like, give them to a gay couple or something.
That'd be
I always say I would give them to Josh Potter to fix his eye. He can take the stem cells.
Do you want to have children?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I think you'd be an incredible mother.
This is a little bit druggy story. The other day, so I've had this like respiratory infection.
Yeah.
And so I went to urgent care and they gave me all these things. And one of the things they gave me was a cough syrup. And it said take it every 6 hours. So I assumed that meant it's non-drowsy because we all have lives to live. So I chug it and then I go to get my first ever lymphatic drainage massage. I go to the massage. Halfway through the massage, I'm like, these massages are really powerful. I'm like,
What is a
tripping.
lymphatic drainage
They
massage?
just like do a special
They
like
drain
pathway.
something?
Yeah, just because I was like so mucusy and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is like a really powerful massage.
But
Like,
the
I
cough
feel
medicine is kicking
crazy.
in.
And then I'm driving home and I'm fucked up. And everyone's like, that's so weird. And everyone's like beeping at me. And I was thinking when I got home, and then we had to cancel. I had a podcast. So I was supposed to canceled it. I had to just sleep. And I was thinking if I had kids, this would be a real problem.
You have Todd.
Yeah, but what if he's on location with one of his shows?
Well, you hire somebody.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'll have kids when I can have all of the nannies.
All right. Well, there you go. Annie, I cannot thank you enough.
Thanks for coming.
Dude, do you regret blocking me off, or was this the fucking greatest podcast you've ever been on?
No, it was so fun. I always knew it was going to be good.
How did you know?
I did know. I'm telling you that the woman that came up to me, she really sold me really fast.
Paulina Pacheco.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to Paulina.
Paulina, my girl. Thank you, bitch.
There it is.
Good job.
Amelia, do you have any questions?
I was just gonna ask if you have like a crazy drug story that you didn't tell or haven't told.
That's very smart. Very smart question.
My high school had like okay, so there was the glass blowing studio in the basement. There was like one building that had all the classrooms in it, and then there was like this, it was like basically a barn. It was ridiculous. And then there was like the gym, and then underneath the gym was the glass blowing studio. So we got
glass bong studio.
it was a glass bong studio. People made bongs, but yeah. Actually, Luca Falso is the creator of Illadelph, which is like a huge glass blowing
Head shop.
Yeah. And he started that at my school. But anyway, so in the basement where the glass blowing studio, if you went all the way back into the back, someone had, I think it was the teacher that jerked off at me, had taken out a wall with a sledgehammer.
Right.
And there was a human-sized hole in the wall. So we would get kicked out of the basketball games for like being annoying. And then we would go downstairs, and the first time I ate acid was actually we were inside a wall watching through the grates, watching the basketball game through the wall.
How's that a drug story?
acid story. I don't know.
You were on acid?
Yeah,
I didn't
we
hear the
did
acid.
Yeah,
I missed that.
And then there was an old folks home next door to us, and we would like sneak up into the fire escape, and we would like smoke joints on the fire escape and stuff. It was pretty romantic.
You know what I thought was
The
really
drugs we
powerful?
did.
And it's not a drug story. The thing with the teacher who molested you, who jerked off on you, that you made the joke because you turned him in. It was one less white guy with dreads.
I know.
When did that joke happen?
He cut in court. He came. He cut the dreads off.
But when does that joke come to you?
It might have come to me like that.
Then,
I don't know. It might have come to me then.
There's
yeah.
something so great.
I know.
about it.
Sometimes I say it on stage. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I talk about it. It's hard because it does. The energy shifts.
Well, people don't know how to laugh at it.
I don't know if they know I'm serious or not too. It's like
both.
confusing.
But that's why it's a brilliant joke.
But I have to figure it out for
the special.
Yeah. Oh, I have a lot of fun.
Where's the special going to be?
I don't know where. I don't know.
Well, we're very excited.
It's going to be cool though. I'm excited about everything.
And if you ever want me on Anniewood, just let me know.
You're going to fly back in?
Maybe I will.
Did you guys fly coach?
Yes. I've never flown first class.
Don't start.
I'm not going to.
Honestly, it's crazy. Well, sometimes I'll be like, I flew coach yesterday, and in my head I just went, why are all these people on my private jet? I was like, it's so weird. You just have to put like a rich person bubble over your face, like a manifesting bubble. People get mad though when you call yourself rich, but I'm like, do you guys know what manifesting is? You might have more money than me.
Can you teach me about manifesting before we're done? How do I manifest?
What do you want?
I want Dopey to conquer.
Okay, so what
I
you
want
would have
Dopey to be the thing.
You'd have to like right when you're waking up and when you're going to sleep, like when you're in that sort of like half awake, half asleep phase, you have to figure out what it would feel like, look like, taste like to be when Dopey is like fucking huge.
It's like quantum.
Yeah, you have to feel it. Like it's all about like embodying it.
Do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you do it? Give me an example. The special.
Okay, with the special, I would think about probably like the Marquee.
Okay.
Like a theater, like sold out.
Where would be the perfect theater?
Well, I want to do it in LA, I think. It just seems like easier, and I have my makeup artist. I have all my people.
Yeah.
It's like the DP has his crew here, and I'm having Bonnie McFarlane is going to direct it.
Nice.
So I'm so excited, and yeah, I just imagine my outfit, like looking really good, feeling really good, like stepping out onto the stage, the exchange, I just imagine like exchange.
And the experience.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All right. Thank you, Annie. Is there anything else you want to say before we end it?
Mm-mm.
Come on. You got one more thing.
Don't do drugs. You can drop out of school though, but don't do drugs.
All right. Thank you.
School's for losers.
School is for losers. And so is boofing.
Boofing's so gay.
Everybody loves
it. Actually
boofing.
is gay, boofing. That is where you can use it as a.
Did you ever do meth?
I think I did, and when it was supposed to be Molly. But I was in so much pain. I don't know. It was so weird. I did.
Why
Molly
were you in so much pain?
Everything was tight and hurt and ached. It wasn't Molly. I don't know what it was. It hurts so bad. Oh, but I did do. You asked me about ecstasy. I got married on ecstasy once.
Who did you get married
Darky
to?
Marky, my Mexican boyfriend. He coined the term, so I'm allowed to say it. In Santa Fe.
Darky
He cheated on me
Marky.
a bunch.
You
we were
married
at a
him?
party. But it wasn't, we didn't sign anything. Our friend was ordained and we were all on Molly or ecstasy it was then. And we just they were like, you guys should get married. And we're like, okay. My vows were literally like, this isn't legally binding, right? He was like the worst boyfriend.
Wow.
But yeah, there's like wedding pictures of us.
It's fantastic. Out of all the podcasts you've ever been on, where do you rate this one?
Top 70.
All right, killer. 70? I thought you were going to say 7.
No, it was good. It was fun. I feel really good about it. It's fun to talk about this stuff.
All right, you don't shut up. Stop it. Enough.
No, it's good.
Enough.
I mean, it was.
Don't do me any favors.
I was like a little bit nervous to do it before I talked to you because I was like, I'm not
sober.
Yeah, I did do like
Ketamine last weekend.
No, I'm gonna.
You
probably do
boofed
it
Molly
tomorrow.
this morning.
No, I have not boofed this year.
And you've never done ibogaine.
I don't know what that is.
It's a very strong, life-changing hallucinogen from the iboga root of South America.
No.
You should do a little research.
I'd do it. I love hallucinogens.
All right. Well, we love you, Annie.
I
Thank
love
you.
to learn.
Say goodbye.
But you could do breath work too, guys, instead.
Do you think I'll be a good breathwork guide?
Well, if you can shut that trap,
No.
you're gonna be so annoying.
I know.
No, you can do it.
I'm not meant to
You can
do
do it.
I'm not meant to do it.
No, I want to learn all this stuff. I want to learn breath work. I want to learn hypnosis.
Would you want to be a shaman?
No.
Have you really done hypnosis that propelled you into the future?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Today?
Yes.
With who?
This woman, Abby. I saw her on Instagram. She came into my Instagram algorithm, and she was like, "I have some spots open for one-on-one sessions." And
Zoom.
I zoomed it with her. Yeah.
And you went into a trance.
It was amazing. Yeah.
A real trance.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me everything.
Well, she did a really cool thing. I was like on a cloud, and the cloud lifted me up and took me to this field, and I was in this field, and then I put on hiking boots and a backpack, and I was like on this mountain. The cloud took me to a mountain, and then I was climbing up the mountain, and then I was on the top of the mountain, and then my future self was there giving me advice. And
What'd she say?
My future self?
Yeah.
Here, will you pass me that notebook? I did it right there. Let me see. Don't you read it. It says, oh. Okay. It says, oh, it's hard to read.
Here, let me see if I can make sense of that.
Wait. Oh my God, it's really,
What does it say?
this is not, no, because this is wrong. This was actually advice from Bill Burr. Okay.
That was Bill Burr's advice?
Bill Burr was giving me advice on, he's sober now.
I ran into him outside of Katz's. I was with my kids and I couldn't ask him.
Yeah, he would have,
He would
he might
probably,
have been nice.
You think he would have said yes?
If it was post mushrooms, he would have been nice. But he gave me all this advice on what to do for my special.
I love that you wrote. Did you tell him you were writing it down, or you're just like, fuck
Yes.
it's Bill Burr, I'm going to write it down?
Yeah. No, we talked I love Bill. I can't believe it. He'll like text me his new number, and I'm like, I can't fucking believe I got his new number. It's like I go back, like, okay.
What is that doodle?
The doodle?
That doodle.
It was just something I was doodling.
Interesting.
I didn't finish it though. That's another goal I want to draw more. Dear Universe, it's so funny. It's so embarrassing. Okay.
How many books like this do you think you have?
Oh, thousands. But I never know where I am in it. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, I have to like go to a page that's open. So Obama sex tape, that's a set list. Dear Guides.
Obama sex tape.
I have a joke with that. Okay. Feeling insecure.
How do you write jokes?
Okay, another reason why I need to streamline everything. I get it feels like I get struck by lightning with the
Amazing.
idea.
So the Obama sex tape joke.
That I came up with on stage. I just randomly riffed it. And then I've been doing it on my set for like a year. Okay, so basically what I learned, let me just try to remember. I learned today that some people, okay, this is what she told me. Spiritually, sometimes people, you have to look at it, you're in grade. So sometimes spiritually you're in 11th grade and some people are in 3rd grade. So stop trying to fuck with people in 3rd grade because that's weird. And stop expecting people in 3rd grade to know what they know in 11th grade.
That's like punching down kind of thing?
Not punching down, but just being like, there's so many people that I've done stuff with where I've been like so frustrated when things are like hard for no reason. I'm like, why are they making this hard? It's like, oh, because where they're at is just not where I'm at.
All right.
And they're not wanting things to be easy right now.
I wanted to hear the Dear Universe letter, but we'll leave it at that. This is a very nice studio.
Isn't it cute?
We love it.
It's just hard. You heard the doorbell ring, the dog's running up and
Shut.
down.
Don't even think about that shit. Put it here. You did good.
Yes. Okay, guys.
We believe in you. Thank you.